If there's ever an issue with the volume or, I don't know, picture or anything like that, just go ahead and make a comment at the end. Make a comment. I can see it at the end. I can't see it, unfortunately, during class, so it's not really an adjustment I can make today, but I'll try to make in the future. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our backs. Okay, so let's bring the bottoms of the feet together, and the knees can come out wide. Let's go ahead and rest one hand on the stomach, one hand will rest on the chest. And then just start breathing in and out through the nose. Feel that rise of the belly, the lowest part of the lungs, into the chest. And then exhaling that breath out, just nice and slow, and then reversing, so chest, low, lungs, and then the belly flexes, press all that air out. Big breath in. And exhale it out through the nose. Nice full, complete inhale. Big expansion up that rib cage, filling those lungs. And exhaling that breath out, just nice and slow. Just being aware of the breath. Just being aware of your body just laying here. Feeling nice and heavy, relaxed onto your mat. Just bring yourself to this moment. Everything else go last night or maybe even this morning. Whether it was good or bad, just let it go. Just bring yourself right here to this moment. I think we can draw those knees together. Use those hands to give a little assistance. You bring those feet about hip distance apart. Bring those arms out to that T. Okay, core is tight. Try to get that low back flat on the mat before we start. And just bring those knees over to that right side, just as low as your torso, your spine is allowing. You'll bring it back to center. And we'll drop those knees over to that left side. Yeah, keep that core engaged as we drop those knees over, especially if you have just low back pain regularly or in a twist. Think about really engaging through that core, not only in the twist, but pretty much in all movements. Bring it back to center and then go over to that right side. And center, over to the left side. Back to center. Now this time we're going to cross that right ankle over, drop that knee over to that right side, and both knees over to the right side. Bring that leg back up, and we'll just hug that knee into the chest. So if we'll keep that right ankle over, we can grab onto that left hamstring, or maybe you reach for that shin. The tailbone is grounded down. Chest is lifting. Pull that knee in as much as you can, keeping that spine nice and long on the mat. And then we'll go ahead and release it down. Just go ahead and switch that cross of the leg. Chi out those arms. Then we'll drop the knees, so finding that twist first. And bring those knees back up. Keep that left ankle crossed over, and then we're gonna hug that knee in, grabbing onto that right hamstring. Tailbone down, chest lifted. Spine is flat, so we'll know that spine is flat because we won't really feel any of those vertebrae dig into the ground. So you can kind of play around with it. If we lift the tailbone up, the vertebrae dig in. Not super comfortable. As we ground that tailbone down, those vertebrae will lift. And not only does it feel better on your back, but you get a deeper stretch through that left outer hip. Go ahead and release that foot down. Foot uncross the ankle, feet are side by side, toes are pointing straight forward, pressing into those heels, lifting those hips up into our bridge, our hip bridge. Really scooping that tailbone up as that rib cage, spine almost like it's drawing down, so really tight through that core. Slowly lower it down. Hug those knees in. Gently rock from side to side. Then we'll pause it and walk forward and back. And we're going to come up to a seat. So legs crossed, just sitting nice and tall. Inhaling those arms up overhead. Exhale, we'll twist it over to that right side. So sit up tall, lengthen on that inhale. Exhale, we'll look over that shoulder as we twist. Inhale, bring it back to center, reach it up. Exhale, twist over to the other side. Sit tall and twist. And bring it back to center, reach those arms up. Exhale, bend it over to that right side. Inhale it back up and exhale it to the other side. And inhale it back up. We'll flow through this a few more times, twisting it over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale it to the left. Inhale, center. Side stretch to the right. Inhale it up to the left. Inhale it up. Twist it to the right. Inhale it back up. Exhale it to the left. Inhale it back up. Side stretch. Inhale back up to the left. Inhale, reach it back up. And then we'll lower those hands down, stepping those feet back to a downward facing dog. Just take a few moments here. Pedal those feet, sway those hips, whatever you need. And make sure we're gripping those fingertips into the mat, pressing into those palms. Now we'll inhale on the toes. Bend into those knees as we step those feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, find that half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're gonna rise to standing. Reach it up nice and tall. And exhale, those hands to heart center. Good. Inhale, we'll reach those arms up. And exhale, fold. Finding that flat back on that inhale, we're gonna take a big step back with our left foot into a lunge. Back knee is gonna stay lifted. If this is a little bit too challenging, you always have that option of going twisting, reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling into our twist. Now lower that hand down, stepping those feet back to our plank. And shift the weight forward. If you need to lower onto the knees, you can. So move through that chaturanga. So lower down, point the toes, inhale, lifting that chest up, cobra or upward facing dog, regardless of the position. Pull those ears away. Pull your shoulders, there we go, away from your ears. And then exhale, send those hips up and back into that downward facing dog. Now this time we're going to inhale that left leg up. So left leg step back. So left leg inhales up. Step it forward. We're going to go outside the left hand. Again, back knee is lifted into that lizard lunge. Chest is pulling forward. Pause it here. Opening, maybe kind of a big opening through that left hip, inner thigh, hamstring. And now from here, and into that back knee, we're going to step that foot wide. So outside the hands, we're in that squat position. Drop those hips down as low as you can, lifting through that chest. You can bring those hands to heart center, driving those knees out. More tight. Sink those hips a little lower. And straighten those legs as we fold. Good, heel to walk those feet a little bit closer together. Now about hip distance. Inhale, reaching those arms up. Exhale those hands to heart center. Inhale those arms back up. Exhale, fold. We'll take that big step back with that right foot. Lower that. We're not lowering the back knee. Lower those toes down. Plant that right hand, twisting. Left arm reaches up. And lower that hand down. Stepping that foot back to our plank. Again, on the toes or on the knees, shift that weight forward as we lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips up to the sky. Downward facing dog. Now we're going to step that right foot outside that right hand. Lizard lunge. Hands, shoulders are inside that knee. Back leg is lifted. Quad is nice and strong. Hold it here for another breath. Maybe pressing those hips straight down towards the ground. So we don't want to twist. Think about pressing just down. And bend that back knee. Stepping those feet outside the hands. Sinking those hips down. Chest is lifted. Breathing. Knees are driving out. And now we'll straighten those legs as we fold. Inhale, we'll rise up to standing. Reach it up nice and tall. And exhale those hands to heart center. And inhale, reach those hips back up. And exhale, fold. Finding that flat back. We're going to take that big step back with that left leg. So same thing, moving through it just a little bit faster, twisting, reaching that right arm up. And exhaling that hand down. Step it back to our plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhaling those hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. I'm going to step that left foot now outside that left hand into lizard lunge. Hold for a breath. Now we're going to step that foot outside the hand. Sink those hips down, chest lifts. And straighten those legs as we fold. Heel toe walk those feet a little bit closer together, hip distance. Inhale, we'll rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach those arms back up. Exhale, fold. Flatten out that back. And big step back with the right foot. Plant that right hand, twisting. Left arm reaches up. Lower that hand down, stepping that foot back to our plank. Moving through that vinyasa. And exhaling those hips to the sky, downward facing dog. I'll step that right foot outside that right hand. Pause for another breath. And then bend that back knee, step that foot outside the hand. Sinking those hips down into that squat. Hold for another breath. And straighten those legs as we fold. Let the head, the arms hang nice and heavy, maybe grabbing opposite elbows as we gently sway it from side to side. And now go ahead and plant those hands. Let's go ahead and just step it back to a downward facing dog. Now we're gonna step that right foot outside that right hand. This time we're gonna lower that back knee down. So we're still going into that lizard lunge, but we're gonna hold it for a little bit longer. Okay, so start on those hands, pulling that chest forward, flattening out the back. Okay, you can start to kind of go into that push-up as we lower down, maybe as far as your body will allow. And maybe you hold it there. If you feel like you can get those elbows on the ground, go for it. And we want that nice flat back. So don't sacrifice really rounding through that spine to get those elbows down. We want that chest to be forward, pulling forward. Think about we're trying to lengthen out through those vertebrae. So find space in between each one. We'll just pull. There's a string here on the chest. It's trying to pull forward, flatten that back. Now, if you want to make this super, super aggressive, curl those back toes under, lift that knee up. This one does make it a little bit harder to hold for a few minutes, but your option, and maybe you can just do this for 30 seconds, get that really big stretch, and then you can go into that relaxing, more restorative / yin stretch. And then come back onto those hands. Go ahead and send that leg back, downward facing dog. Take a moment, pedal those feet, that blood flow, that rush of energy back to that right leg. And we're going to step that left foot outside that left hand. Back knee lowers down. You can start to move into that push-up position. And maybe you can lower those forearms down to the mat. Keep holding that chest forward. If you want, lift that back knee up, hold it here. If this is a little bit too much, you can lower that knee down. So just make this stretch your own. Come back onto those hands. Slowly send that leg back to our down dog. The other ones come onto our back, so you can step, maybe hop and cross those feet. Roll it on down to your back, hugging that right knee into the chest, and then using that left hand just to twist that knee across the body as that right arm reaches out. Bring it back to center. We'll switch sides, hug that left knee and right leg reaches out as we twist. We'll bring that knee back to center. Let's finish off with a happy baby. So hug those knees in. Bring the knees a little bit wider. We can reach for the big toes or maybe the outside edges of the feet. We'll just extend those feet up towards the ceiling. Draw that tailbone down. So we can maybe extend those legs out. And ideally, though, we want to pull the knees down towards the ground first and then start to extend out. If you want to rock it from side to side, you can. And then lower those feet down. One last hip bridge. Arms by the sides. Press into those feet. Lift those hips up. If you want to interlace those fingers behind the back and walk those shoulder blades, get a little bit more of a shoulder stretch too. You can. The idea here, though, is there's probably going to be a little bit more arching in the back. That's fine, but we still want that core tight. We're going to be pressing into those feet, lifting those hips up. So not just those arms, release it. Roll it down one vertebrae at a time. Tailbone will be the last thing that lowers. And then hug those knees in. We'll rock ourselves up into that seat. And hands are just resting on the knees, closing down those eyes. Taking a few breaths. And just to be in this space. And at any point in time in the day, things get a little bit crazy, a little bit hectic. Maybe just taking a moment or two just to close down those eyes. Focus on that breath. You slow it down, that full, big breath in. That nice, slow and controlled exhale. Just do a few of those. Just notice what helps to calm you, help to clear your mind, so you can focus on maybe the problem or the task at hand. A little bit more of a clear head, less reactive, less judgmental. Link those eyes open. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a great, great day. And I will see you tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow evening, something like that. All right, thanks guys.